Welcome. Today's session is going to focus on total body, but we're especially going to hit our neck, our lower back, our hips, and even our feet. So let's get started. Total body, but we're going to start on the mat. We're going to take a moment. We're going to let go of wherever we were before we rolled out our mats. This is a key part of our practice. This helps us see where we are right now and then helps us see how far we've come by the end of our practice when we return back to this seated position. So whatever position you want in the lower body, that does not matter. The priority is lifting up through each vertebrae all the way up through the crown of your head and then drop those shoulders down. Hands are resting in whatever comfortable position you choose and close the eyes. Bring that focus inward, check in on your body and your breath. Allow yourself to breathe all the way down through the belly, so filling the lungs front to back, side to side, all the way down and through. Big inhales and big exhales. How is your neck feeling and your shoulders? How's your back and your hips? Do you want to set an intention for your practice today? Do you just want to choose certain areas of your body to focus on releasing tension? Or do you want to build some strength? What do you want to bring to your practice? Let your shoulders hang down with every exhale. Let's drop our chin towards our chest. You can keep your eyes closed. Just nice and relaxed, and then draw one ear to one shoulder. You can stay here. You could take that arm on that side and pull down on the head gently. Dropping that opposite shoulder, getting a big stretch through the side of the neck. And then release the arm. Release the head back, chin to chest. And then turning towards the other side, ear to shoulder. And then picking up that arm if you'd like and gently pulling down on the head. A little bit of stretch can go a long way to helping how we feel. Release the arm, chin to chest. Trace your collarbone. So find a little bit of movement in your neck. Moving nice and slow, whatever pace you choose. Having the chin trace the collarbone back and forth. Completing this round. Chin to chest. And then gently lifting up. And then gently looking up. Stretch the front of the neck. You could draw your lower jaw forward, getting more of a stretch through the throat. And then release. Chin to your throat. Stretch through the base of the skull here. And then release. Let's take a big inhale. Bring those arms up overhead. Reach through. Let the eyes soften and open and then float them down. Let's find a little bit of stretch through the side body. Up. On your next exhale, reach into one side and bend the other elbow. Inhale to center, both arms up. Exhale, drop one arm and reach through the other. And notice I'm not going to reach through on this side. Inhale up. Exhale, reach through. Remember to listen to your body and any injuries that you might have. Be that shoulders, neck, back, whatever it is. You can still reach through without reaching through the arm and just open up through the side body. Let's do one more round. This really opens up through the shoulders, the ribs. Last one. Inhale, center. Exhale, both arms come down. Let's get a little bit more opening up through the chest. Just turn your fingers, point them back, squeeze your shoulder blades, and then if it feels good, chin to chest. Open up by squeezing the upper back, gaining strength. Drop your head down to get a bit of a release. And then relax. Roll those shoulders, let them find neutral. Let's stretch out the legs. Couple of minutes of sitting can feel a little bit intense, so make sure to give your legs a pat or a squeeze or a shake, whatever feels good. You could roll your ankles, you could curl those toes, spread the toes wide, point them. What feels good right now for you to get that energy moving? All right, if you're sitting on a block, blanket, or anything else, come down onto the mat. All right, let's get a little bit of stretch opening through the hips, and we can give the feet a little bit of a rub as well. So bring your feet together. We want to focus on having some great length through our spine. Now, as you're here, you can just hold. If it's a bit of a challenge, you can inhale and relax and exhale and push down. But while you're here, take your hands and bring the thumbs to the balls of your feet and the rest of the fingers on the outside. And then work those hands down the center of your foot. Bringing those thumbs through the arch, all the way down, almost to the heel. And then give it a little kind of rub as you go forward. And then walk through the balls of the feet. We go down to the little toe and then back to the big toe. And then come to center and give those feet a little bit of a walk with your thumbs all the way down the center. And then rub forward towards the ball of the foot. And we'll walk down those toes again all the way down and then all the way back. And we'll do one more round. Walk those thumbs down the foot towards the heel. And then big rub through. Now peel those feet open. See if you can peel them open a little bit. Get a little bit of a stretch as we open up through the hips here. A lot going on in this one today. And then release. Let's bring those knees back up. Let's bring those feet back to the ground. Take them nice and wide. We're going to bring our knees from side to side, opening up through the hips a little bit. Hands come beside you on the ground or your mat. And we're just going to let our knees hang over to one side, and then we're going to go to the other. Your goal right now is to keep everything in alignment. So remember that this is coming from a folding of your hips. As we rotate from side to side, we're kind of rotating on the feet and the heels, going back and forth. You could hold if you can get a big stretch through the side, or you can just find a little bit of flow. If you flow a little bit more, you might kind of be shimmying across your mat or, towards the front of your mat, but then you can just readjust and scoot back. All right, let's do one more. Both sides. And then come back. All right, let's stretch out those legs for a moment. Just a big stretch through whatever that means for you. You could just choose to sit up nice and tall and keep your hands to the side. Maybe you choose to move your thighs for a moment so we can find our sit bones. Hips, knees, and ankles are in alignment. Draw those toes back. And if you would like to insert a fold, feel free by inhaling arms up and then exhaling, folding forward. Remember, our folds are never about how far we can go by reaching our toes. Give yourself that grace by keeping a nice flat back and knowing every day is different. And we're just going to think about hinging our torso from our hips. Check in on your breath. How are you feeling? This is such a big part of our practice. Big, deep inhales. All right, let's release. Come back, bring those feet out, and we're going to come onto our hands and knees. We're going to play around with a couple of things, but first we're just going to do those lovely cat stretch. Now you have two options here, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Remember, you could come down onto blocks on your forearms here. Spread your palms wide, press out of your shoulders, and unlock your elbows. You could curl your toes back and start getting a stretch through your feet, or relax your feet onto the mat. Drop your belly, lift your hips, and look forward or up if it feels good. Exhale, chin to chest, navel to spine, hunching and rounding the back. Open through those shoulders. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the hips, look up. Exhale, chin to chest, navel to spine, hunching or rounding the back. One more time. Looking up and back. And release. All right, we're going to curl our toes back. I want you to get a big stretch here. So see if you can press all your toes into the mat, and then if you can, shift your weight back. Getting a little bit more weight into those feet here, spreading them wide, stretching through the arch. You could, if it's possible, bring all that weight in and get your hands off the mat. Everyone is different. Remember, keeping weight in your hands is a great option to make this more accessible. Once you put all your weight into your feet, you're really going to feel a very intense stretch through the arch here, okay? Take one more breath wherever you are. Try to relax into it. Know that our feet need a little bit more love that they don't always get, so it might feel rather intense. Then we're going to release. Okay, release your feet. Okay. Now, we're going to get a little bit of a stretch through our hips. We're going to get a little bit of stretch through our feet in a moment. Walk your hands over to the right side. Can you shift your weight to your right leg and then pick up your left foot and bring it towards your left wrist so it's on the outside? We're going to come into a lunge first. We're going to stretch through the hips. So coming up, bring your hands to your thigh and then shift that weight forward. You might need to shimmy your foot a little and see if you can stretch through the front of your hip here. Now remember, if you have the flexibility, you could have your hands down on the mat. You could come down onto your forearms. There's so many options here. I want you to listen to your body. You could use blocks to get yourself up a little bit higher to keep your hands on the ground. You could just be here on your thigh, getting a big stretch through the front of your hip here, okay? One more breath. And then we're going to shift back. Okay, now I want you to walk your hands over and bring your foot a little bit more so it's on one line. Stretch first by trying to keep your foot on the mat. So try to get a stretch through the front of your top of your foot here by keeping it on the mat. This is very different than when we curl the toes back. The intention now is through the front of the foot. Now draw those toes back and see if you can get a stretch here. Now remember, this can be a big challenge for your balance. You could fold forward, you could try and sit up, you could keep your hands on your mat, your block, or something else you have in your home. Get a big stretch through that foot and then release. Bring those hands back and then bring that leg around. Then walk your hands to your left side. Take that right foot, bring it up to where your hand used to be. So first we start with that lunge, so we shift forward. And we try to get that stretch through the front left hip. Hands to the thigh. Big stretch here first. You could have those hands come to the mat. You could go down to the forearms. What does your body need? Remember, this is about listening to yourself. You can choose any variation that works for you, but I want you to breathe. Relax your shoulders down. Take deep breaths all the way into your belly and try to relax no matter where you are. It's not about what variation you chose. It's about how it feels. We're going to take a couple more breaths. And then we're going to shift back. And we're going to walk our hands so we can bring that right foot over to center a little bit. And then we're going to shift back. This time, try to keep that foot on the mat. Stretch through the shin, all the way through the front of the ankle, through the foot, by pressing it down as much as you can. This can be a great stretch through your ankle and your foot. One more breath in this variation. And then we're going to shift back all the way, draw those toes towards your torso, curl them back. You could take your hand to your foot. You could come up. You could use blocks here to help with balance. One on each side. It's up to you. Ready? Release. Bend that leg. Bring your hands to the left side so you can swing that leg around. We're going to come into child's pose for a little bit of a rest. You could have hips, knees, and ankles in alignment, or take the knees wide, big toes touch, hips to heels, relax everything down. It's up to you. You could keep the arms extended and get a big stretch through the spine. You could relax them down to relax the upper body, or you could take them around your thighs so your hands are by your feet, palms to the sky, so that you can really fully relax the upper body. What feels best? And as you're here, relax. Let any last bit of tension you're holding go right now. Melt into the mat with every exhale. Big belly breaths, filling, pressing against the thighs. Really letting go. 2 more big breaths here. And then we'll inhale and we'll come up. Bring those wrists under your shoulders and knees under your hips again. We're going to stretch through the legs before we come to standing. So we're going to take the right leg, press it back. I want you to think about spreading your toes. Look back right now. Spread those toes into the mat. Push into your heel and out of your palms. Stretch through your calf, but also feel it through your foot. This is a great way to stretch through the hamstring and the calf, getting ready for downward facing dog. Ready? Release the right foot, knee under the hip. Left leg goes back. Spread those toes wide. Press the heel into the earth. Push out of your palms. Big stretch. Feel your foot opening, your calf, your hamstring. Try to release that whole area. All right, release. Now we can come into downward dog, which I will do with you for a moment, but I have to keep my weight on my left arm due to my shoulder injury. So I want you to walk your hands out a little bit further. When we come into our plank position, wrists should be over your shoulders. We curl back the toes. Make sure they are hips distance apart. This is the most important thing for our alignment in our lower body. Lift your hips up, hit your plank, and then go into downward dog. As you're here, to focus on the lower back, bend into your knees, lift your hips to the sky no matter what. But a big knee bend will release your lower back. You could pedal your feet back and forth. pressing in one heel into the earth and then the other, getting a big stretch through the legs. Or maybe downward dog isn't for you for the next few breaths and you just walk your feet forward and then you slowly come up. You listen to your body and your practice will make you feel great. So wherever you are and whatever you choose, take 2 more breaths. You could stay in downward dog for those 2 breaths. It's up to you. And then walk your feet forward. We're going to come into our mountain pose. This is our transition into our standing work. Right now, your goal is to feel your feet. So be that with your feet together in the traditional method or separated, bringing in a little Tai Chi practice. Reach your fingertips down to the earth, palms facing forward. Have your knees be soft, not locked out, a little bit soft. Drop your tailbone slightly, shoulders hang down and heads lifting up. Close your eyes if you can. Turn your focus inward. How's the weight in your feet? Where do you feel it? Are you clenching your toes to the earth, or can you relax and let your foot spread wide just as your palm is? All of your fingers are open and reaching for that energy from the earth. Can you allow your foot to relax and open up right now? Feel that weight front to back, side to side, nice and even. 2 more breaths. How does your neck feel in your shoulders? How's your back and your hips? Gently open the eyes. 1 more breath. Release the arms. We're going to inhale and we're going to lift the arms up and we're going to come up onto our toes. And then we're going to exhale and we're going to drop the arms down and come onto our whole foot. Now you don't have to go up very high to get a lot out of this exercise. I want you to feel the weight even from your big toe to your little toe. And then slowly lower back down. Challenging the balance, working with our feet and our calves and our ankle strength. So we inhale up and we exhale and float down. Let the arms kind of help you feel like you're light, like a bird. And then you ground and you root to the earth. 1 more. How did that feel? Let's take a moment. Notice your feet again. Try to relax them. And then we're going to inhale, arms up, and we're going to exhale and fold forward. Be that arms out front or to the side. Reach everything out nice, flat back. Bend into your knees and let everything hang down. You could have your hands on the earth. You could grab to your elbows. You could wrap your hands behind your knees. There's so many variations. What feels good for your body? And if you'd like to do a little bit more footwork, shift your weight to one side a little bit, pick up the other foot, take your wrist to your toes and bring your whole hand underneath your foot. Lift the other foot, wrist to toes, whole hand underneath your foot. This is going to change where you feel the stretch. It's going to bring a lot of energy through your palms. It's going to change how your feet feel, your hands, your lower back, your legs, everything. So be careful. Do what feels best for your body. And if you chose to put those hands underneath, shift your weight, lift one and release. Lift the other and release. And then slowly come up. All the way back up. All right, we're going to work through the spine and the lower back by doing a little bit of half sun salutation. So this simply means that we're going to fold forward in coordination with our breath. So inhaling, arms come up. Exhale, fold forward. Bend into your knees. Let everything hang down. Now on your inhale, straighten your legs. Bring your hands to your knees or your shins and have a nice flat back. Exhale and fold forward again. Maybe you bend into the knees. Then on your next inhale, hit that flat back, straight legs, arms come up overhead. And we exhale and release. We're going to do 2 more. This is a great way to build energy through the body while focusing on that alignment. So I'll turn to the side so you can see that straight spine is very important. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, we fold forward. Maybe we bend into the knees. Inhale, flat back, hands to the shins, looking out. Exhale, fold forward. Then inhale all the way up. Squeeze through the glutes. And then release. This is also a lot of core work. You would be surprised. All right, ready? Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back, looking up and out. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. And then release. All right, we're going to do a little bit of balance, a little bit of stretch. You might want to grab a chair, wall, or other piece of furniture in your home for stability. We're going to shift our weight to the right, and we're going to draw our left knee up. Now, if you're holding on to something, hold on with the same leg that's supporting you and take that left hand to the knee. If you have the balance, you could take with both hands. Pull up. Knee to chest. Okay, we're going to take a couple of breaths here. The challenge, if you would like, is using the left hand only. Open to the side. Try to keep your foot relaxed. Don't curl it back, just relax it down. Pull up still, open to the side. And then come back to center. And then pull that knee up again. Working the hips, the balance, the core, all at one time. Okay, ready? You can release and transition, or you can slide that left hand down to your ankle and then bring the heel to your hip. So again, you could just drop your foot and then just grab the ankle, your pants, or your foot. But we're just getting another stretch here. Okay. Ready, release. Drop it down. And then put your foot out, draw your toes towards you, bend into your right leg and lean into it a little bit. More stretch through that back of the leg here, maybe through the hip a little bit. And then release. Come up. Okay, this time shifting left. So again, you would hold on to something on the left side this time. Bring the right knee up. Relax your foot. That's going to help. Don't lock out your leg. Both hands if you can, or hold on to something and just use that one arm. Take a couple of breaths. Know that every side is different. We're going to try to relax the shoulders. Now, if you'd like, right hand only pulls up, and then we open to that right side. So we're stretching through the hip in different ways while challenging our balance. You can push out that left palm like you're kind of pushing into a table or something to help with balance. And then we'll come back to center. Pull up. And then you can transition by bringing that leg down or slide that right hand to your ankle. Transition by bending that knee, heel to hip. And take a couple of breaths. Remember, there is no right or wrong answer. It's about how it feels for your practice. I'm trying to still challenge myself after a broken foot. Ready? Release. Take that foot out. Just a little bit ahead, draw the toes back, bend into that left leg, lean forward a little bit, big stretch. And release. Okay, now you can do a tree pose, which I'm going to show you first, or I'm going to show you a more advanced variation, okay? This is going to work through the hips. So first and foremost is touching with your toes. We have 3 options. Hands to heart being the most challenging. Pushing out with your tree limbs might help, like you're pushing into a door frame, or hands overhead, palms face each other. You could be on your toes. You could go to your calf. We never want to push on the knee. It's not meant to go to the side direction. The next variation is taking your foot to your thigh. If you want to get it more of a stretch through the hip, take your foot and take it to the inside crease of your hip. This is like a half lotus. We take our right hand to our left foot and we try to bring our knee down. This is a very advanced version. This is a great stretch for this hip area. Bringing your foot to your thigh is more than enough for most people, or just being here can really challenge your balance. Wherever you are, take 2 more breaths. Remember, this is about your practice, so what feels best for your body? Last breath here. Ready? Release. This is going to be our last standing pose, okay? Then we're going to come back down to the mat. So shifting left, remember we have the option of our toes. The arms or hands to the heart, push those palms out, or palms face each other overhead. Next option is the calf. Do not press on your knee. It's not meant to go that direction. So then we would have to grab and pull up to press into our thigh. That other option is bringing it all the way up towards your hip. Let that foot go in your hip crease. Drop your knee down and left hand goes to right foot. There's other things you can do here, like bringing that right hand behind you, grabbing for your elbow. The variation when you practice all the time is that your right hand can go, or your left hand can go to your right toe. That takes many years to get to, but we are where we are today. I want to encourage you to choose the variation that works best. We're going to take 2 more breaths. No matter where you are, the goal is to not wobble, to touch if we need to, center ourselves, and then come back up. 1 more breath. Ready? Release. Okay. Now, before we do a forward fold and come back to our mats, let's inhale, reach those arms, push your hips. Big stretch, lean back as far as you can. Release, let the arms come down. Inhale, stretch through the lungs, push through the hips, feel that weight. And release. 1 more time. Come up. And release. Okay. Now we're going to come back down onto those mats using our half sun salutations. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Look out, find that last bit of length. Exhale, fold forward, ground your palms. Step back so you can come onto your knees. Then come to sit and stretch out those legs. We're going to come and lay on our backs. Nice, gentle way to come back to our mats. Let's hit a little bit of core here at the end. So coming down nice and slow. Use those muscles right now. Arms up. Ooh, I have a better idea. This was a request. Stay right here. Okay, we're going to hit a variation of boat. This could be one of so many different things. First and foremost, heels on the mat, hips, knees, and ankles in alignment. Can you feel your sit bones? Okay, now, can you lift your arms and keep your back flat? This, in and of itself, can be a lot of work, okay? The next variation would be hands behind your knees. Lift one leg, lift the other. Lift your heart. Keep your heart lifted, balancing on your sit bones, okay? Next variation, arms off. Final variation, here. Every variation has something to offer. I want you to remember that even here you are using core muscles that may have not been used that often. It does not mean that it is any different. I want you to choose what works for you. Take one more breath. Ready? Release. Drop those feet, round the back, bring those arms around. Allow yourself to release everything for a moment. And now we're going to use those core muscles and we're going to come down. So feet to the ground, arms up, slowly come down. Make sure you have enough space behind you. All right, let's get ourselves on the mat. And then if it feels good, bring your knees into your chest and hug them in tight. You could just leave your feet on the ground or bring your toes to the sky. Listen to your body. This is about your practice. All right, let those feet hit the ground. We're going to hit some more core muscles for just a moment before we come into our final Shavasana. So let's start. We can start by bringing the arms down the side of our body, palms by your hips, shoulders and palms press into the mat. Lift your legs up so that the knees are over your ankle or your hips. Shins are parallel to the ground. Start by touching one toe and then the other, back and forth. Now you could tuck a little towel underneath your hips or your hands underneath your hips to help. If you feel so inclined, you could bring your arms up overhead, palms facing each other. You could do opposite or same arm, go lowering down. Okay, you could do whatever feels good. I want you to remember, this is about your body. How can you keep your lower back on the mat? Any diastasis, we want to use both arms across the abdomen to keep those abs in tight together, helping them heal. Doesn't matter how long it's been. Keep those abs tucked in tight. Draw the navel towards the spine and make sure to breathe nice and deep. This simple exercise can be so much. And if it's not enough, you can always take a band, a rubber band, and bring it around your thighs to increase the intensity of this movement. All right, let's do one more round, both sides. And now knees to chest. Pull them in tight. Release everything. Circle or rock from side to side. Hit that lower back just a little bit. And then we're going to let our feet hit the ground. And we're going to stretch those legs out nice and long. Bring them nice and wide. Feet to the edges of your mat perhaps. And we're going to take a few moments in our Shavasana, and I want you to remember that this is a key part of our practice. No matter if our practice is 5 minutes, 15, 30, or 45 minutes, we should still take a couple of those minutes to check in on how we're feeling, to allow our bodies to be in this neutral position with our spine perfectly straight, where we can soften through the pelvis and let the hips, knees, and ankles open. They hang or dangle to the outside. We let our shoulders fall into the earth and our limbs start to feel heavy, be that hands on the belly, palms to sky, lots of space from the arms and your side body. And we let our breath return to its natural rhythm. We just have that natural flow. Deep belly breath still, but just a natural rhythm. We have that natural rise and fall that we can feel. We moved a lot of energy around. We built a lot of energy. So right now, can you just let go? The goal of meditation is to enjoy the space between the thoughts, choosing not to dwell on them, but to let them pass by. That's our intention. That's what yoga does for us while we're practicing. There's nowhere else we are but here and now in our practice. And then yet as we get towards the end, we find that our mind might become busy, so we have to choose consciously to let go of those thoughts and enjoy the space between them. Take a couple of more breaths. Allow yourself to relax the space between your eyes, softening the forehead, softening through the jaw so you bring space back between the teeth. And just letting go for a few more breaths. Remember, there's nowhere else you need to be. Here and now, a few more breaths. We'll start to wiggle the fingers and wiggle your toes. Bringing energy back to your body, roll the wrists and the ankles. Bring one foot to center and then the other. Reach the arms overhead and find a big stretch from your fingers through your torso all the way down to your toes. And then relax. Lift one knee and then the other. Let your feet hit the ground so you can lift your hips to one side and then roll to the other. Pause for a breath or two. And then use that top arm to come back up into your seated position. That exact same seated position that we started in. Find it comfortably, whatever's natural. And then notice the changes. Close the eyes. Are the shoulders hanging down more? Does your neck and back feel better? What about your hips? Can you sit up with ease? Did we achieve your goal today? And then if there's anything else you need, take those arms out wide, gather that energy from the earth, bring it overhead, and then carry it through your whole body. We end class by acknowledging the light within me is the same light within you. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed today's session. It's a little bit of a longer one, but I hope you think it was worth it. Some of us even think that it flies by. So until next time, you know where to find me. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and even visit my website, ladytaichi.com. I hope to see you again soon.